What's up guys, Brian, Callahan Garage. So if you guys watched my last video, what you saw was me kind of get a Kawasaki Nomad kind of up and ready to sell. You kind of saw the prices. We're going to do the same thing with this Harley. Now this is an 85 FXRS. It's an Evo motor. I don't know a whole lot about Harleys, but like anything, it's mechanical. I'll get it running. It says it ran 5 years ago. It, came from a pretty reliable source that it probably ran, so I may believe that. So it could be something easy as a tank clean and a carb clean. But let's get into it. I'll give you a walk around the bike here in just a second. So let's take a little closer look at the FXRS. It's got an Evo motor. It was parked, I think, 5 years ago, and it parked when it ran. Just they had other motorcycles they were riding. I say they, my uncle. This is one of my uncle's bikes. I bought this one and another one together. One thing I want to caution about, so I buy a lot of stuff sight unseen because the price is so good. But generally, if you're going to go out and spend your money to try to buy a motorcycle to build like we're showing you how to do to resell, remember the information you get may not always be true, but it is important. So like a bike that hasn't ran in 5 years could just simply need a battery, carb clean, oil change, and a little bit of maintenance, and this thing is ready to go. But it also could need a whole lot more. So you have to kind of judge them based on what you're buying and how you're buying it. So you got to know what the market will be to actually sell this thing. So don't go throw your tax return away just yet. Stay tuned and let's keep on. Let's see what this one takes to get going. A lot of cables. So we got some movement here. I know the front brakes work because when I put it on here, I had to use them. Let's go ahead and get this off and take a look at the carburetor real quick. So there was no gas in it. I could smell bad gas, but the tank looks actually really, really cleaned. We might run some fuel through it, make sure the petcock's actually working. It doesn't sound like there's anything in there. All right, so we'll go from there, and I'll catch back up here in a little bit. All right, let's check the oil real quick. I don't know if you can see that. It's about half down, which I'm guessing is probably drained into the bottom of the bike. So what'll happen is when we start this, it'll probably leak a ton of gas. Sorry, not gas, probably leak a ton of oil all over the place. So a really common problem with these motors is over time, there's a little ball and spring back here that's supposed to hold the oil back up in the oil cooler or the oil tank. And over time, it will leak down, especially if it's been sitting for a long time. That's why the oil is down low. Now underneath, you'll see a little hose. That is actually a spot where for the vent tube, so we'll actually see oil come out of there. So I think what we're gonna do is go ahead and take the spark plugs out, hook a battery up, see if it turns over, let some of that oil come out, and then we'll see if we can get it started and put the plugs back in. All right, so I'll be back with you guys in a minute. Okay, so there are both plugs out of the bike. I mean, it looks like it's running a little rich, but the plugs don't actually look really worn. It could be because of that valve, and it's probably burning a little bit of oil because getting past like the cylinders. But let's see if we can get this thing to turn over, and then we'll go from there. All right, we got a battery hooked up, spark plugs out. Ooh, we got power. All right, so we were hitting the button to start the bike, and we weren't hearing a click it or anything like that. So what I did is I came to the starter solenoid. I've got 12 volts there. Nothing here. because that's going to be where it relays. So this is our signal wire. I'm going to go ahead and hit the starter button. Now we got 9.42, so that's enough for a signal. But we got nothing going to there. So basically that starter relay is going to be bad. And a quick way to check it is, blow the power pod. So you heard that click, so you know that the starter relay is going to be the problem. So basically, like I said, we came over that power pod where that relay is, and I'm basically handing 12 volts. So once you hand that 12 volts, it should turn it over, but you can hear the starter clicking. The battery may not be strong enough to need this, and this thing ain't started in a long time. So that's the first thing we're gonna do is change that starter relay. Hopefully it's something I can get pretty easy. So we'll check back in a little while. All right guys, so I replaced the starter relay, and then I pulled the plugs out to test, let's see if it would turn over. And remember when I said it was probably gonna leak a lot of oil because however it's sitting so long? Well, I wasn't trying to start it, I was just turning it over, didn't realize, yep, it's gonna dump all the oil as well. So, yeah, that's where we're at. Let me throw some K-liter on that, and then let's see if we can get this thing to fire at all. All right, so I put the plugs in. Let's see if it'll turn over. Well, we are not going to be able to test fire it unless we get it to stop leaking oil. Well, that's one way to change the oil. So we need this little spring right here. All right, so that's the top. There's a little spring on there that pushes on a ball, and that ball is what actually stops the oil from going down. As you can see, the oil's still going down. So we're gonna have to pull this ball out of there, check that, and probably replace the spring and the ball. All right guys, so I went ahead and I'm waiting for the spring and ball to come in, but I cleaned up the old one, got everything going so it's not completely dumping oil. Got the battery hooked up, put some more oil back into it. Let's see if it turned over, let's see if we get some fire. Oh yes. Let's hook some fuel up to it. All right, let's turn it on, see if we got any fuel leaking from the car. right, so clearly we know to turn over, but it's not getting through the carburetor. So let me pull the carb off, go through that, and then I'll touch back with you guys in a little bit. All right, so I pulled the carb apart, and as you can see, it's not in great shape. So what I'm gonna do is disassemble this whole thing, go ahead and put it in the ultrasonic cleaner, see if I can find a rebuild kit for this. Probably won't, but let's go ahead and get this cleaned up, and then probably finish that up tomorrow. All right, so we rebuilt the carb, got it back on there. Let's see what we got. Probably a jump box. Always something. Let's see what we got. Not quite enough power. It runs. Not well, but it does run. Let's try that again. I hate jump boxes. The problem is I don't have the right battery for this. The one I ordered, the poster on the wrong side, so we're having to use a jumper just for a little bit of help. Come on. Almost had it. All right, let me throw this on the charger for a little bit, then I'll get back to you guys in a little bit. All right, well, we're running. I think they're having problems with the carb leaking though. Not leaking in the bowl, but it's just kind of running out. So I think there's an air issue with it. We're gonna remove that. I'm gonna put a different carb on there, and then I'll get back with you guys in a little bit. All right, so I got the new carburetor on. Let's see what happens.
smokes like a mother, but it's got a lot of built up stuff in there. Plus I'm running a little bit of oil mixture in there so we can kind of like lube the cylinders. So let me get some regular gas and then we'll run that through. We'll see if we can get this to run a heat cycle and then we'll go from there. All right guys, so we got some regular fuel in this now. Let's see what it starts like. All right, a little before. It was covered in filth. And now a little after. After. Already looks a lot better. Now I just have to see if it starts because it probably won't.
Well guys, I think we're gonna go ahead and end the episode here today. So we did a lot to this bike this week. We got it running, driving, we cleaned it up some. Still needs a lot more cleaning. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this bike now. I've got a bunch of different parts we can try. I've got different handlebars, exhaust. Definitely need some tires because the date on them is 2000. So make sure you like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you want to do. Like I said, I've got different handlebars, exhaust. I got all sorts of stuff we can do with this bike. Or so we just sell it down the road and get on to the next one. So make sure you like and subscribe again. Thanks for watching Callahan Garage.